was looking for something to do that would get me back into some physical shape, and I started out with a marathon. And I did a couple marathons, and then I decided I wasn't interested in them anymore, so I thought about something I could do that could give me that endorphin rush, but would keep me interested for a long time. And I thought of a martial art. I started out with Muay Thai that was being offered in the town that I lived in at the time. And next to the Muay Thai space, there were Jiu-Jitsu mats, and I didn't know what they were. I didn't know what those people were doing. Those things that I would later learn were called judo rolls and hip escapes and all that crazy stuff. And I decided I needed to be a part of that. In 2006, I was living in Chicago, and I had a job at an education corporation, and I lived in a condo that I'd bought a couple years prior. I was training regularly, and it sort of slowly started to dawn on me that training was the only thing in my life that really made me happy. And I had always struggled with depression throughout my entire life, and I was in a place where Jiu-Jitsu was sort of a saving grace, but also it threw a wrench in the works. And what I mean by that is I felt so happy when I was training that it was impossible for me to ignore the fact that I felt so unhappy in the rest of my life. The issue was that I was making choices for myself that I thought were supposed to be the right choices, but they weren't. And I blamed myself for that instead of taking a step back and thinking, well, maybe there's a different way for you to live your life. Maybe there are different choices that you could make that would make you happier. And I think it was just because my frame of reference was relatively small. I went to college, I went to grad school, and in those places they tell you that you're going to live a certain way, and you don't have a frame of reference for questioning it. And I think that's one thing that doing jiu-jitsu gave me, was an opportunity to see a lifestyle and a set of priorities that were very, very different from the ones that I had had. Nobody cared that I had gone to graduate school. Nobody cared that I had a nice job. Nobody cared that I had a nice condo. What mattered was how I conducted myself on the mat. There was nothing like it that I had ever experienced, and so I almost got to the point where I couldn't stay in my life because jiu-jitsu gave me so much joy and the rest of my life just didn't. I was going into my office every day and shutting the door and crying until I could pull myself together and get on with my day, and I eventually finally started to realize that that's not normal, or it wasn't a normal that I wanted. That's when I decided to put my condo on the market. That's when I cut the cord with the job, and the sale of the condo went through at the end of June, so July 1st, 2006, that's when I took off in the car that I bought and started driving around the country training jiu-jitsu. The first time I decided that I was going to do what I thought would make me happy was absolutely terrifying. I second-guessed myself over and over and over, and I thought I'd made a huge mistake. I think I would be in a completely different place if I hadn't done this trip, if I hadn't ripped the Band-Aid off. And I don't think it would have been a happier place. I think I would have gone deeper into the life that I was living, which was one that didn't make me happy, and I would have continued to blame myself for that. When I first quit my job, I think everybody was surprised, including me. People wanted to know what I was doing, and I did too, because I honestly didn't have much of an idea other than that I needed to not be doing what I was doing at the time. But what I will say about everybody, family and friends combined, is that having made those choices after the initial fear and uncertainty, I think everybody can see that I'm a happier person. I'm better able to be the best version of myself because I made these choices. One of the most difficult things we can do is figure out what makes us happy. Because only I know what makes me happy, only you know what makes you happy. And I don't know how much practice we have in pursuing those things for the sake of happiness. So the first thing that I would suggest anybody do is just start to pay attention in their lives to the times when they feel alive, and the times when they feel energized, and the times when they feel invested and interested, and the times when they feel the opposite. Because that's where you start to separate out the things that you do that you don't want to be doing from the things that you do want to be doing, and you can try to move yourself toward the things that you do want to be doing. Keep your mind open, your heart open, and see what you're really drawn toward. Be willing to be afraid, but to understand that that just means that we're stretching ourselves and that we could be moving towards something even better.